Hey, what's up YouTube? Thanks for tuning in again. And in this week's video, we're going to be unboxing an original Prusa i3 MK3S 3D printer. That's a lot of threes. Let's get started. I don't care. Alright guys, before I get into the unboxing, we're going to have my very first giveaway on this YouTube channel. And today's giveaway is going to be a brand new spool of FILAMENT Vanilla White PLA. Now those of you who don't know about FILAMENT or have never used it, this is some of the tightest tolerance filament you could purchase on the market. No, this is not a paid promotion by Prusa. I just genuinely love their products and I think they really go out of their way to deliver the best quality to this market at a very affordable price. So stay tuned because throughout this video, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get into this giveaway. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, let's open this thing up and see what's inside. All right, so obviously you got your paperwork here on the top, 3D printing handbook, and the assembly instructions. From what I hear, these are supposed to be extremely detailed and well-made instructions, so pretty excited for that. Got a hardware sheet here. Also, nice fact to know about this hardware sheet is I believe every single screw and nut and bolt or whatever is 1-to-1 scale, so you could physically hold the component up to it and make sure you have the right one before you go forward with the assembly. Alright, so right below that is the Y-axis hardware. So these are going to have the supporting frames and other pieces for that as well. Got your power supply. And yes, Prusa's very famous for including Haribo golden gummy bears in all of their printers and packages. It's pretty funny. Power supply cable. Yeah, sorry this is kind of an awkward angle for you guys. I don't have the most ideal setup in my room for an unboxing, but hopefully it's getting the job done. So these are all the fasteners and electrical hardware. So I'm gonna put these smaller boxes to the side and then get the big one out of the way, and then I'll show you guys what's in here. I think that's a better plan. Got another small box, MK3S plastic parts set. So that's gonna have all of the 3D printed parts in it, I'm assuming. This is a spool of filament, which is awesome because I forgot I was getting one of those. What's on the bottom here? Okay, Prusa motor kit. Assuming these are going to be your stepper motors for your X, Y, and Z axis, as well as your hardware for them. So this will probably have all of the smooth rods and the threaded rods in there for the motor system. Maybe I was wrong about that last thing, because, yep. Okay, this is definitely all of your rods in here. If you guys could see that well. They very nicely separate all the components of the machine in here. It's really nice. It's kind of like an IKEA kit, but definitely on steroids. Like, it's definitely much better and more organized. All right, so let's get this off the table. This was the last thing in there. I guess we'll start with this. All right, so in here we have the build plate, of course. This is the heat bed. So this is what the build plate sits on. This is the actual PCB that has the heating element inside of it. So this is what gets hot. Your build plate goes on top of it. These are the frame parts. get this out of the way. All right, back to the plastic parts. So yeah, this is everything 3D printed on this machine. So those of you that don't know, a lot of these components on the Prusa printers are 3D printed. I wouldn't really look at that as a negative at all. A lot of people out there do see this as a negative, but I actually see it as a positive because you don't always need the most insane structural integrity for some of these fasteners. It's not necessary to machine every single thing on a printer out of aluminum or brass or whatever you want to use. It's just way more cost effective, and I think it really showcases what their machines can do. These are all printed by Prusa printers. So, you know, this is the Rambo housing for the control board. These are the E-axis, which is the extruder. So these are all the components for the extruder and the hot end. These are some, these are some rod holders and pulley holders. Things like this just need to be structurally sound. They don't need to endure a crazy amount of load. So don't ever get turned off if you see 3D printed parts on a machine. It does not mean at all that it is tacky or cheap or that it will break. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I actually printed a couple of these components myself. I ordered my own PET G off of matterhackers.com. This is just like marble textured PET G. I really like the look of it. I thought it would give the machine some nice contrast. I have a couple of these machines at work, so I actually printed a bunch of these after I got my spool in. So I'm going to swap out some of these components as I go through the build. But those of you that don't know, once you purchase a printer and you have access to their eShop, they give you every single STL for everything you see here. They give you recommended print settings. They even give you pre-sliced G-code on a ton of this stuff. So they make it really easy for you to service your own machine, to replace your own parts. I've seen a lot of printer companies in the past kind of like withhold that from the customer, from the consumer. They won't allow you to print your own parts. They won't send you the parts, and it's really like kind of goes against what I feel this industry is all about. Hey guys, before I get any further in this video, I wanted to take a minute and tell you guys what you need to do to get into this giveaway. In the beginning of the video, I told you guys that I'll be giving away a brand new sealed spool of Prusa Vanilla White PLA filament. So I just wanted to talk to you about this filament a little bit. This specific roll has a tolerance of plus or minus 0.013 millimeters. So as I said previously, Prusa has some of the tightest tolerances on the market. One thing they do very differently that I've not seen other manufacturers do is they'll actually give you, hopefully you could see this, they'll give you a QR code on the side of the filament. It'll also be accompanied by a spool ID, I believe. You go to their website and you put in you scan the QR, or you put in the ID of the spool, and it'll actually show you every single detail you could imagine about your specific spool of filament. So I'm actually going to link this specific filament in this video and in the description below, so you could go check out what you're about to get. But that website will tell you everything from the exact manufacturing date, the exact weight of material that is on the spool, the exact weight of the empty spool. It'll show you the total filament diameter variance throughout the entire length of the spool, and it'll show you your specific spool's overall tolerance. This one happens to be, like I just said, plus or minus 0.013, which is a pretty incredible tolerance when the standard in the market is 0.05, I see most commonly. And yeah, so if you guys want to get in on this giveaway, all you have to do is 3 things. 1, obviously like. 2, subscribe. And the 3rd thing you have to do is go in the comments below and type in, "Give me that filament." All right. Over the next week or so, I'll rally up everybody who submitted into the contest. I'll maybe draw the names out of a hat or something like that. I'll figure it out, and I'll announce the winner in my next video. So yeah, this is gonna have, this has zip ties, the tool parts you need, some USB cables. You have your belts over here. You have all of your hardware, all of your feet, the rubber feet for the bottom, the linear bearings. So obviously this is a full-blown kit. It might look a little intimidating to people at first, but to be honest, I know of so many other printers that come in kits that they don't do a fraction of what Prusa does for their documentation. So if you're lucky enough to have a Prusa kit and you don't have that much experience working with this kind of hardware and assembly and all that stuff, I think you'll be just fine. And I know they go out of their way to make it extremely easy, even for beginners. So I really appreciate that about Prusa as well. But yeah, all the electrical stuff is in here. The control board, the Rambo's in here. All the parts for the extruder, the cooling fans. So I'm not going to make a mess on my bench right now with all this stuff, but you guys get the gist of what's in there. So the power supply. I actually really like how they redid this power supply. So if you guys have an MK3S or a 3, you guys know that the other supply is kind of like, they don't make a nice black casing over it. It's just kind of the bare aluminum supply that sticks out of the black holder. It just like, this makes it look so much more professional and like a way more robust machine. I really like that touch. And they definitely deliver on things like that. They add these little tweaks and aesthetics that really make the machine look very, very professional. These are the Y-axis frame parts. And sorry if I'm a little slow here, guys. Like, this is actually the very first time I am unboxing one of these kits. I've bought several of these machines for my job, but I always bought them pre-assembled. So this is the first time I'm unboxing a kit. So I'm kind of like, if this is your first time watching an MK3S unboxing, it is also my first time doing an MK3S unboxing. So these are the extruded aluminum pieces for the bottom of the frame. This stuff is like so rigid, and it's also really inexpensive to manufacture, which is like, you see this very commonly on a lot of 3D printer frames. Actually, if you look at a couple of Prusa upgrades, like I think the Bear upgrade, I think it's called, they pretty much have these all around. So where Prusa has these flatter pieces of steel for parts of the supporting frame, upgraded frames will have these extruded aluminum sections all around, which makes it overall a much more rigid machine. I'll probably do an upgrade in the future. I'm not really too crazy about doing upgrades just yet. So I showed you guys a little bit of what was in here earlier. These are all of these smooth rods for the assembly. So this is going to be your X-axis rods, your Y-axis rods. Everything you need is in there. And they also give you very nice. They give you all of the little expandable sleeving sections, or not expandable, these are just split sections that you could wrap over your wire harnesses, make stuff look really neat and clean. This is how the Prusa machines look very nice out of the factory with all their wiring. So they definitely consider wire management when they give you this kit. And I mean, that's pretty much it, you guys. So I'm going to be doing a very detailed assembly of this machine, like a follow-along tutorial. And I mean, I'm just taking a glimpse at this manual right now, and you guys could probably see as well that it's very, very well detailed. Everything's very well documented. The pictures are very clear. The instructions are color-coded, referencing each image above. I mean, it's pretty much like as foolproof as it gets. If you're going to build a 3D printer from scratch, this is the kind of manual you want to follow along while you do it. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned for that. And also, if you didn't know, all of these documents are available online. I heard the electronic version of these documents, the 3D printing handbook and the assembly instructions, are a little easier to follow, which I could totally see why. But just so you guys know, if you didn't know that. Alright guys, that's pretty much it with the unboxing. I hope you liked that video. My next video is going to be the assembly of this printer, and it's going to be pretty in-depth, and I'm going to make it a point to stop at parts that I feel others may struggle at and give a little more detail where I feel necessary. But stay tuned, because I might even have another giveaway in that video. Alright guys, see you then.